Sabrina Carpenter gave an extremely racy performance at the 2025 Brit Awards, and a lot of viewers at home were very scandalized and shocked by what they saw, and they ended up receiving hundreds of complaints to the British Ofcom, which is actually our equivalent of the FCC, their Office of Communications, which has authority over all broadcasting in the UK. They have a rule called the watershed, which basically just means the watershed begins at 9 p.m. In between the hours of 9 p.m. and 5:30 a.m., you can show anything that might be unsuitable for family audiences. But Sabrina's performance was broadcast well before the watershed, and a lot of children were, I presume, witnessing her spreading her legs, wearing lingerie, and doing all these sexual poses, making suggestive scenes in her performance with the royal guard. All of her male backup dancers were dressed up as the British Royal Guard.
I guess that's it's very American to know nothing about the country you're trying to satirize, I guess. It's not even satire, but it's like, oh, what do they do in the UK? It'd be like coming to America and just showing fat people at McDonald's.
I think that what she was doing was a shade at her ex-boyfriend, Barry Keoghan, because he's Irish. She was going to pretend to hook up with British Royal Guard to get back at him. I don't know. That was just my theory. Ofcom received more than 800 complaints over Sabrina Carpenter's raunchy performance. The performance from Sabrina featured her demonstrating provocative dance moves. She also was dressed in a military-style blazer surrounded by members of the King's Guard. And then she ended up in a bra with stockings and suspenders for the performance of her song Bedchem, while dancing saucily on a heart-shaped bed.
Was that their actual
Saucily.
choice of word?
Saucily.
You don't hear that one very often.
She seemed to poke fun at the uproar. She posted something on her Instagram from behind the scenes of the Brit Awards saying that she knows what a watershed is.
Yeah, get it? It's a sexual reference.
Yeah. She sparked cheers from the crowd as she quipped, "I feel like we're in the era of free the nipple though, right?" She's also seen during her set kneeling down in front of a member of the King's Guard, who then they pan to his face. He winks at the camera. But let's take a look at the footage here.
This one or the other one?
Let's start with this. Okay. So she's on the heart-shaped bed with her legs spread out.
Muting. Can't have.
Yeah, we don't want to get copyright from Sabrina. And so far, I'm not entirely surprised by what I see. She always wears lingerie at her concerts. This is normal for her. The poses are a little bit much, but nothing out of the ordinary for her. And then the one scene with the British guardsmen at the end of Bedchem is what really set people off. You can see this is something she always does at the end of the song.
Hold, please.
Okay, so they have her next to him.
Is that regulation face hair for a member of the British Royal Guard?
Doubt it.
I doubt it.
Doubt it. So she leans down. She's not in the frame anymore, and they stick to his face, and he winks at the camera and bites his lip.
Okay.
He's probably a gay backup dancer. Then, yeah, they say that the finale of Sabrina's set was so saucy it had to be edited.
It does look like
for one broadcast.
It does look like Benny Blanco.
It does. No, actually, Benny Blanco would have been significantly worse. It ends with the camera focusing on her in a suggestive position, which shocked the crowd inside the arena. This definitely breaks their rules, and here were some of the tweets about it from British viewers. Just after 8 p.m. with kids watching, sorry, not a good idea to open up with before 9 p.m. It's still family time. This is very inappropriate. Another said, as a dad of 11 and 13-year-old girls, I am fuming that this was the opening scene of the Brits.
He's like, look, I am fuming. how did this not happen at 9 p.m.? 8 p.m. is unacceptable.
I'm fuming, absolutely fuming.
Absolutely fuming.
My 11-year-old daughter is obsessed with Sabrina, and I explained to her while watching this performance that this is why I'm not taking her to a concert.
That's
just something
some
we've
good
talked about before.
Some good parenting right there.
Sabrina's concerts are not 18 plus. She has a bunch of children there getting taken by their parents all the time and doesn't take into consideration that most of it is kind of pantomiming a sex show. But you know, I don't blame the people who were complaining about this. I think that they have a right to be scandalized by this material on national television.
The last time I remember Ofcom getting mentioned was them censoring an Alabama Barker ad that was also inappropriate for somebody who was not 18.
Alabama Barker ad.
It was like a print ad.
Okay.
I think that was Ofcom.
I think they also censored one of Demi Lovato's album covers. Do you recall that? She was on her album cover on this cross-shaped mattress, like a soiled mattress shaped like a cross.
Yes,
and
I
she was
remember that.
posing on it like this blasphemous display of the crucifixion, but sort of made into a weird sexual BDSM thing.
Yeah.
And I do recall Ofcom or one of these regulatory agencies in the UK censoring it from public display on public transport or like in their subway stations.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, yeah, it was Pretty Little Thing advertisement banned for portraying 16-year-old Alabama Barker in an inappropriate way.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yep, back in
because
2022.
nobody has any standards anymore.
This is true.
Sabrina has previously defended her sexy stage persona, saying, "My message has always been clear. If you can't handle a girl who is confident in her own sexuality, then don't come to my shows." So she's trying to make it about sexism in a way.
Not the age of the fans. Women are really good at deflecting in these types of situations. It's kind of like when the girl's like wants to go out dressed a certain way, and then she talks about how he's insecure because he doesn't want her to dress that way.
Right. So she's going to frame this as a patriarchal, puritanical culture repressing women's liberation.
What about a parentriarchal lack of a
Another
liberation?
parent said it's effing ridiculous. Lots of little girls are watching this, learning that female artists have to dress and perform like a prostitute to become famous. Do you think that message is being imbibed?
I don't know if those children are thinking of it that way. I think that they're surrounded by this stuff so often that they probably don't even think of it that way. But it doesn't make it any less inappropriate.
I just came across this old interview of Taylor Swift from maybe the early 2010s where she said, I don't think that she was referring to like female entertainers. I don't think that we should have to be sexy, edgy, or cool. There's nothing about me.
She's saying that because she can't dance well.
Yeah, exactly. That she literally said, she said in the interview, I am... like, nothing about me is sexy, edgy, or cool.
It's because she can't dance.
And
well.
then
again,
well, yes,
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
point, and that is her point as well.
Yeah.
And she was saying that pop stars of her generation are expected to basically do what Sabrina Carpenter does, and she was saying it in a way that was kind of condemning that behavior. And she also was then asked, "Well, what do you represent, or what are you if you're not those three things?" And she said, I'm curious and creative and poetic. And
all
like
of those
blah, blah,
things
blah.
only get through because her dad was a record executive back then.
She has a selling point that goes beyond nepotism.
Yeah, but I think the proof is in the fact that that is the exception and not the rule for most pop stars. Now,
But then people said
plenty
it's
of people-
hypocritical of her to promote Sabrina Carpenter on her own tour when this is theoretically the same behavior she was condemning back then.
people could, like, Taylor Swift's skill set, 90% of the time, if she had come about a decade earlier, she firmly lands in the folk artist category. She ends up like Jewel.
Well, she's clearly transcended that
Yes,
by
but I'm
many
saying,
magnitudes.
But I'm saying that she is the exception, not the rule. She's a traditional pop star that doesn't have traditional pop themes or traditional pop set design or any of that stuff. But most of them, they end up in some type of subcategory, like a Jewel or like what a Nelly Furtado was before she tried to go normal pop as well.
I'm sure that Taylor Swift is aware you're not allowed to make comments like that anymore. But secretly, quietly, Taylor Swift is probably very proud of the fact that she's as successful as she is without having to sell sex.
She wouldn't be able to say that.
If she said that today, everyone would call her a pick-me, and they would call her probably like a cafeteria feminist. Like, you're not supporting other women. You're not letting other women empower themselves with their sexuality.
There needs to be like heel female performers that just go the opposite, like women hating women. Like,
who would that even be?
There's
no one like that.
I don't know who that would be. It would be funny though.
Is there gonna be an anti-feminist pop star
I don't know
anytime
who that would be.
soon?
It would be really but not even like anti-feminist. It just has to be like a play on the tropes.
Oh,
Like not inherently pro dude, but just anti-woman.
there's another artist that has reached a lot of success without having to incorporate sex into their brand is Grimes. She's just super weird and like people like that.
I don't know a single person who could tell you a single song that Grimes has ever made.
But they've probably heard it.
Maybe.
And they would recognize it.
Weary
Traveler sent
what
us a
say
20.
you?
Weary Traveler said Sabrina Carpenter is just Taylor Swift for women who are pump and dumps instead of going from relationship to another.
Oh, she's just like the speed run version of
I see.
Taylor Swift. That makes sense.
Maybe you could say Taylor Swift is Barbie and Sabrina is Barbie's little sister.
Brat doll.
Sabrina is the Bratz doll, Taylor is the Barbie.
Yeah, chat, what say you? I want to know how many of you like listen to Grimes songs on the way to work. Or know a Grimes song at all.
I mean, you listen to some pretty obscure stuff.
Yeah, but I don't listen to Grimes, so
it's not unheard of.
It's not. Let us know what you think. I do think that you're right. I think that Taylor Swift, if the cameras were not rolling, she's like, I am so lucky that I got to make it in the way
certain that she has a sense of superiority over other pop stars who have had to like really use their sexuality to get ahead. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.